Hello, and welcome to Miss Griffin's Kindergarten Girls class. When one is a student in my class, the most important thing that is instilled in them from the moment they walk into the door is that students know that knowledge is something that is obtainable for every single one of them, and every day we come to school, we will be involved in learning engagements. We start our day off by unpacking, putting our things away, and having breakfast in the classroom. Our classroom environment is very print rich and creates a learning space that fosters the development of my early readers and writers. Once breakfast is over, we start our day by having morning meeting. During this time, students sing our morning song, which sets the tone for our day because it really affirms who we are and why we come to school.
I'm smart. I'm strong. I really try to get along. I got good friends to stick together to the end. I like myself. I worked a lot. I like myself. I worked a lot. Don't try to tell me what to be, 'cause you can see inside of me.
Our entire morning meeting is student-led, and they do everything that it takes to be the teacher, such as lead calendar time and select students to answer questions. Roxanne Crete in the morning meeting book states that educators who establish firm boundaries foster warm personal relationships in the classroom and enable students to have an impact on their environment, strengthen students' attachment to their school, and positive behaviors.
Can I put that and then I did the project.
Very interesting. Kaylee,
Stayed at home.
you just stayed at home? You didn't do anything interesting this weekend? What else did you do interesting? I saw you brought in your project. Did you work on your project this weekend? Very cool.
Unless I have some sleep at least.
Oh, well, at least you got some sleep. Maya, what did you do?
From morning meeting, we transition into some language and literacy activities. Through games and activities, students are engaged in lessons that promote phonological and phonemic awareness. Afterwards, students transition to reading centers, where they are encouraged to build their reading stamina by independently reading, reading to someone else to build fluency, and also engaging in small group instruction to focus on guided reading, which is supported by the teacher, or word work, where they tackle decoding and encoding skills. In order to assess students' reading levels, they are giving the developmental reading assessment monthly to track their progress. After reading, we transition to Writer's Workshop. We begin each session with a mini lesson where a new strategy is introduced to students, and then we practice it collectively as a group. Afterwards, students are encouraged to try out the strategy during their independent practice. Students are given several materials, such as different types of paper, pencils, big erasers, and crayons to use as they craft their writing. Also, students are allowed to choose what they write about to give them a true voice in their writing. Amy Flint states that literacy is not a competitive enterprise where some kids succeed and others fail, but rather, literacy development is collaborative with students working together on various questions and projects. Allowing students the autonomy to have choice in their writing, they are able to create meaningful pieces of work that reflect where they are on the writing continuum and allow them to learn from others who may be on different ends of the spectrum.
Have you thought of how you want your song to go? Can you mind singing a little bit for me?
Yes.
Tell me.
Really? Really shy.
Okay, you don't have to sing it right now. Maybe write the words first and then sing it for me later, okay?
And sing my
Savannah, what problem are you writing about?
I said I love me. My mom said don't run.
So what's the problem? What's the problem that you saw that you thought about?
Well, you would hurt yourself and you would bleed and you would cry.
So are you writing a book, a sign, a letter? What are you doing?
A letter.
You're doing a letter. So I have letter paper in the back. Who you want to write that letter to?
Hope you won't like my mom.
So you're writing a letter to your mom, and what are you telling mom?
Once we are finished with the writing unit, we celebrate with a publishing party, where our book buddies are invited to come into the classroom and read our writings with
I
us.
didn't finish this one yet, but I can do this one. We are going to decorate it. And going into what's your name? That's Penny. That's how the
After writing, we head to recess and then lunch. Since we have such a long day, we rest our brains by either engaging in yoga or taking a brain break just to get our brains and bodies recharged for the rest of the day. After we rest our brains, we jump right into our math block. We usually start off math by meeting as a large group to discuss a topic and then participate in an activity together. Afterwards, students are encouraged to investigate and explore the topic through either small group math activities or differentiated math centers. Rather than drilling students on math facts, we engage in activities that are hands-on and relevant and also have a personal connection to the students. After math, we explore topics within the content areas of science and social studies. Because we are an IB school, there are certain units of inquiry that are introduced to students where a concept is discussed. From that concept, students develop questions or wonders about the concept, and from their lessons are derived based upon what the students want to learn about. In Harvey and Goodvie's Strategies That Work, they note the fact that questions are natural for curious 5-year-olds, but you have to continuously encourage them to stop, think, and wonder about what they were learning. By doing this, I was able to learn and explore so much alongside my students. I was able to plan lessons that were meaningful and important to students because it was based around questions that they wanted answered. Students were invested in the work they were doing because it meant something to them, and they had acquired questioning skills to cause them to inquire about their worlds and ignited them in action to find the answers to those questions. At the end of our units, besides a typical assessment, students are allowed to choose a final project to show what they have learned from the unit being explored. In social studies, we explored global topics and investigated into the similarities and differences of human beings in terms of who we are and how we express ourselves. Students explored different customs and cultures from across the globe, and we were able to choose a final project about a celebration around the world that really connected to the students and were able to help them build their presentation skills by sharing their newfound information to the class. Our day ends after social studies, and I am given the time to reflect on the day. By completing my theory and practice chart daily, I am able to reflect on my highs and lows from the day and what implications they have in my practice and the next steps I can take moving forward. Because I spend time out to reflect on my practice, I make sure that I have a system in place to progress monitor my students of where they are according to the standards being addressed quarterly so that I can better support them. During my past 2 years of teaching, I have conducted my impact on students' learning by reflecting both quantitatively and qualitatively of where they are in each content area and analyzing the growth that they make over the semesters. Beyond my students' academic successes, the best thing that I have built with them is a lasting relationship both inside and outside of the classroom. From inviting family members in to discuss their careers or to be mystery readers, to having parent chaperones on field trips, families feel included in our classroom. I communicate with parents through weekly emails where I update them on happenings in our room. The relationships that I have built with students and their families have been insurmountable and really make a difference in our learning community. One of my favorite quotes from Amy Flint in Literate Lives states that a progressive child-centered approach to teaching children, where the interests of the learner are emphasized, real-life experiences are valued, individual children are viewed as important, and the learning process is just as critical as the outcome, really makes a difference in the success of a classroom community. By teaching with this concept in mind each and every day, it is my hope and goal to develop young people who are caring toward other human beings and have a desire and passion to acquire as much knowledge as possible. Thank you for watching.